Well, that's lunch. And we're back up towards Vincennes again. Nobody parked here for a change. It's fairly rare. They were talking on the news over lunch that on average over the last 20 years in France there have been 335 days, that's in all of France, not just Paris or whatever, where there have been storms, bad weather, ice, general unpleasantness, which has caused insurance claims. So they've been looking at insurance claims, basically anything that's caused insurance claims, flooding, that type of thing. And they say on average per year insurance has paid out 3.2 billion euros per year for natural events in France. Now, I'm not sure, because they didn't say, whether this also included places like the Caribbean, and the French departments in the Caribbean, like Guadeloupe and Saint Lucia and Martinique and Tahiti, and in the Pacific and this type of thing. I'm assuming it's for all of France, so I'm assuming it's going to include that. That's 335 days in the year. That leaves 30 nice days in the year in general, which I find a little bit difficult to believe. I know France is 3 times the size of the UK, so it's bigger, but even so, I find it a little bit difficult that only 30 days in the year on average there isn't a natural disaster. So, and they of course said it was all down to global warming. They didn't necessarily say it was man-made global warming, they just said it was global warming, which of course they weren't pointing any fingers. I think they've learned that they've got to be a bit careful as to how they specify this, because people are getting fed up with saying it's man-made, and we get this, oh, it's all man-made, it's all man-made, it's all man-made. I'm not saying that we haven't had a part to play, and I'm sure we've had a large part to play in global warming, but I think some of it could be partly natural cycles, and we're just seeing natural cycles happening. Lights are still out, nothing coming, and of course the problems of carbon emissions and that type of thing that us nice humans are doing are just exacerbating the problem. Whether or not that's true or not, I don't know. I'm certain we do have a part to play in it, but exactly what part, I don't know. Just had a message on the phone, but I don't know what it was. It just went quiet. Not sure why it went quiet. The Bluetooth system might be telling me I've got a low battery. I've got about 45 minutes of charge on it, which is definitely not enough, but it takes about 3.5 hours to take it from 0 to full again. Come on then, Charlie. You've got right of way. Little green man. I know you're not used to motorcycles and scooters stopping for you at zebra crossings. It's not a common occurrence in France. You usually have to jump out of the way. But I'm not French. So you get a bit of British politeness. I'm not going to say you're going to get it all the time. For example, Mr. Idiot in the white car just before lunch. He wasn't paying attention to anything or anybody. We get that quite a lot, unfortunately. He was probably on his phone, probably hands-free. I suppose I could have nipped in front of this van. But there's no point. I've got a lot of time. Don't have to worry, I'm not short of time. So you can't really see if anything's coming on that junction until you actually get right next to it, which is a bit of a problem. Okay, music has gone quiet again. No understanding as to why. It's obviously trying to give me a message, but I can't hear anything. There's no... On my phone, just have a look at the Marne. I'm just see if I can point the camera at it. That mauve building or purple building or whatever, I don't know if you can see it in this green tower just here. This is a weir. It is. And the water is right above the weir. I don't know if you can see the floats. That's to stop the boats going underneath and approaching the weir. And the floats are actually in the water. So that's a bit deep, I think. Definitely a bit deep. You've probably noticed that although we have the 30-mile-an-hour signs, there's the 30-kilometre-an-hour signs, there's a distinct lack of sort of 50 kilometres or speed limit signs for the rest of the roads. And that's because the rule in France is once you're inside the limits of a town, village or city, it doesn't matter what it is, hamlet, and you've gone past the post to enter. The post, the town name sign, is the 50-kilometre-an-hour sign. So they don't need to post it, unless, of course, they want to use a different speed limit within the town boundary. And then they can. We're about to go. Nothing coming. Thumbs are a lot better. It's okay. It's just pressing the button which is a problem. I can turn the indicators a little bit better, certainly to the left. The right is a little bit of a problem. The left is okay. It's switching it off which is the problem. That does hurt, actually. I do know about it. Right. It looks like we might get a bit of rain this afternoon. We'll have to see. The lights are green. I do wish they would actually fix those lights. It would be nice. So we can see them. Motorbikes are all motorbike shops are all closed. And under the RER. The wind seems to be a little bit less than before lunch, but I'm still being affected by it. A Twizzy. That's one of these single-seat vehicles. They're made by Renault. Electric. and they're actually pretty good in around town because they're quite manoeuvrable and easy to park. I mean, they are classified the same as a car because they've got 4 wheels, but yes, I don't know what the range is, and there are a couple of municipalities where they actually have the Twizzys for rent, so you can rent them for a short period of time. It's all done via Renault, so it's not a separate company. It is actually Renault who offer the vehicles for rent. I think they're doing it to get people used to driving it, because there's a vehicle to nip down to the shops and that type of thing. It's quite good. There's enough room for a little bit of shopping in it. But forget taking passengers, so you can't really use it as a second car. It's more for a shopping trip and that type of thing, or possibly to go to work. And as they are electric, I think you'll have some benefits, but exactly what they are, I'm not too sure.